Hello and welcome to the video. This is a follow-up video to one I did a little while ago looking at the problems that I've had with the i2c compass in one of my builds. And the whole idea of making these videos is to really show the troubleshooting process. Because I explained in my last video, the troubleshooting process and how you generally go around fixing things is a little bit more tricky these days, because most of the stuff that we tend to use now, if it's broke, you tend to have to take it to an expert. You're not going to undo screws and start checking soldering and other bits and pieces. And unfortunately, that's exactly what you have to do with a quadcopter. Now, the quadcopter that we're talking about here is this thing. This is the big, leggy, endurance build quadcopter that I built quite a while ago. And it was working fine, with the exception of one little thing, which meant that I wasn't going to fly it farther away. I couldn't guarantee the return to home would work. And that was the fact that the compass just wouldn't configure. And in the last video, we spent an awful lot of time going through, replacing the compass, checking all the different bits and pieces, and trying to figure out which part of the system wasn't working. Was it the compass? Was it the wiring? Was it pull-up resistors? Was it something in iNav? And eventually, we figured out it had to be either the flight controller or iNav itself. Now, the reaction to that initial video was absolutely fantastic, and I need to say a massive thank you to all of you that took the time to suggest other things to try, because an awful lot of you were really thinking about the problem. And although that wasn't the idea of the video, to solicit ideas, you gave me some amazing stuff to try, including things like changing the i2c speed. Now, the i2c speed, you can reduce it so that the bus is running at a slower speed. And if there's maybe a bit of dodginess with the signal, that slower speed can overcome those problems and get it working. So you can set the i2c speed in things like iNav if you have these issues. Did try that again and didn't get anywhere. Now, one of the things that was suggested an awful lot was, well, why don't you flash it with another software to find out whether or not it's the software or the flight controller? And that was a fantastic idea, because in one little test, I could absolutely know whether it was the flight controller or iNav, and I could take one of those away and I'd be left with the actual problem. So what I decided to do, the easy thing to do, I wasn't going to try flashing it with Quadcopter and messing around with all that stuff. It was dead easy, because it's a little flight controller like this, to flash it with Betaflight. So pop Betaflight on there, configured up the compass, and guess what? The compass worked perfectly. So now I absolutely know it's something to do with iNav 2.0. Now, as I said last time, what I would normally do in a situation like this is try an older version of iNav. But as this flight controller is only supported in iNav 2.0, I didn't have the option. So at that point, I was kind of stuck waiting for the development team to have a good look at it. Interestingly, on my GitHub listing, when I reported the problem, other pilot had gone along and said that they'd had the same issue too. And then Dataman, one of the developers, had done a fantastic job and come back and proactively let me know that 2.0.1 of iNav was out, and it should have fixed the problem. Now, the interesting thing is I'd been watching iNav 2.0.1 come out, and I'd seen some releases from Constantine, one of the lead developers on iNav, and it fixes a lot of problems with GPS. So I was considering upgrading to that anyway, just to make sure that I had the best opportunity to get the craft back in the event of a problem with the automatic return to home and landing. But I wasn't aware that it was also potentially going to fix these i2c problems as well. So, next job, download 2.0.1, flash it onto my flight controller, and then reboot it, power the system using the battery, because the battery has to be installed in order for the 5 volts to get out to the external compass and GPS unit. And guess what? It's working. It's working beautifully. Such a nice thing to see that blue light lit up. I'm going to have to calibrate the compass, but that's a pretty easy job. So I had dumped all of the configuration from my previous version out. So I'm just going to load that all back in, and then I just need to go through and check all the settings, and then I can continue to play with this quadcopter and start to fly it to the edge of line of sight, safe in the knowledge that it's probably going to come back to me most of the time. So massive thank you to the iNav development team for getting this sorted out. A big release like this, you tend to find that some things get damaged or broken. I've asked Dataman what the actual problem was, still waiting for a response as I'm recording this video, but hopefully now you can see the conclusion of this process, and also the fact that I've also got the I2c stuff sorted out. So it wasn't my cabling, it wasn't the flight controller, it wasn't the external compass. But I didn't know that until I'd actually replaced and checked all those different things to get down to the check on whether it was iNav. Now, could I have done it a lot faster? In hindsight, which is always 2020, I could have done it a lot faster. If I'd have just flashed it with Betaflight, I'd have instantly known that there's something going on with the iNav software. And maybe in hindsight, that would have been a better first step than actually starting to take things apart. But hopefully now you can see that the process that you go through for troubleshooting is quite iterative. It's one thing after another, and you take out each of the pieces in turn to eventually get to the last one. And if it's software, hopefully the development team will get it sorted out and you can get it fixed as well. If you found that video useful or like the content, then please hit the like and subscribe button down below. If you want to go the extra step, you can become a Patreon of the Painless 360 channel and help provide support for what I do here. All the videos created here are put into playlists, so if you're interested in a particular topic, have a look at the playlist, and they all are organised in there to make them easier to use. If you're not sure if there's a video for your particular problem or topic you want to know more about, then add Painless 360 to the Google search term that you're interested in, and that should find the video, article or content about the particular thing that you're interested in having a look at.